everyone, welcome to my live creative time today. My name's Mandy Witherby from Mandy's Papercraft Creations, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. Welcome to another week of creativity. We're going to be making a card today using some brand new products, so I'm very excited to share this one with you. And we're going to be doing a few techniques as well, which I can't wait to show you. So I hope you will enjoy that. Now, while everyone is finding their notifications that they've gone live, I'll just bring this live feed up on my other devices so I can see everyone's comments there. So bear with me while I just get this all set up and we will be good to go. Alrighty. Let's do a refresh over here on this one. So iPad is set up and just get the computer set up as well. There we go. Okay, all good, all ready. Now, if you are watching, sorry, just adjusting that camera a little bit. If you're watching live today here on Facebook, you're going to see the red live button up in the top left-hand corner. If you don't see that, then you'll know that you're watching the replay. So thank you to everyone that's coming here live today, to everyone that's watching the replay, both on Facebook and over on YouTube as well. Thank you all to my viewers. I appreciate you all. I'm going to be sharing, first of all, a few things that are happening in Stampin' Up! So there's lots of exciting things, lots of great ways of maximizing your value at the moment, and all the exciting things. There's lots of new products. So I'm just going to share a little bit about that first, and then we're going to jump into our project as quickly as we can, because this one, as I said, it's got a lot of technique and things. So I want to, get onto that as quickly as we can. And then I've got an additional project to share with you as well. So we will do that shortly. So make sure you've all got your cuppers ready. So you are comfortable, snacks if you need them. I've only just not long had lunch. I had a late lunch, so I'm all good to go. Kind of afternoon tea really, isn't it? You'll notice today I've got my horse brooch, which might give you a little idea of what we might be creating today, or maybe not, because maybe you haven't seen all of the new products yet. So anyway, I'll share that with you when we get to it. So let me share with you a few things. Oh, first of all, let me ask you all to share a little bit about your weekend. Anything that you did that was special, or even if you just had a relaxing weekend, sometimes that can be really special, can't it? Because often we don't get those relaxing times, do we? Like, life is just busy, busy, busy these days. Hey, Leslie, how are you? Lovely to have you here. So let me know what you got up to. So Saturday morning, I had a class here, so that was really lovely. Had some ladies here for that. So that was based around the Stampin' Up! Kits. So that was a really fantastic class. All the ladies had fun creating their projects. I think all of them, or nearly all of them, finished their first kit, and some of them had an additional kit as well. So I think the additional kits were taken home to be completed later as well. So that was really fun. And then in the afternoon, I shared some time with my beautiful team, or some of my beautiful team. Each month we have a team gathering, usually via Zoom. Occasionally we'll do them in person, but usually via Zoom, because our team is all over Australia. So it makes it easy then for everyone to come and join in. And then we do a little bit of recognition with our team, and we have a prize draw, and then we do some news and updates and things like that. And then we have some creative time together, so where we can just chat, relax, craft on our own projects, or sometimes we have somebody demonstrating a particular project or a fun fold or something like that for us. But this month, we just did our BYO project, so everyone brought something along. So that was really lovely. And then yesterday We had a bit of a cruisy day in the morning, and then in the evening our son and daughter-in-law came for dinner, so that was really lovely to see them. Our little puppy's been a little bit unwell over the weekend, so Amber and I have been a bit sleep deprived. She's been doing the majority of the work, but every time she got up with her through the night, it would wake me up. So both of us so if you see I'm a little bit puffy and a little bit dark under the eyes today, that's why. I haven't had much sleep over the weekend. She's had even less. But she seems to have turned a corner now. So she had a bit of a reaction to a medication. That's the dog, not Amber. Yeah, she had a bit of a reaction to some medication last week. So she's just it's upset her tummy a little bit because she already has an irritable, what they call irritable gut in dogs, which is human IBS basically. So it doesn't take much to tip her one way or the other. So we've got to be very careful with her. But yeah, anyway, no more of that medication because it's really upset her tummy. So, but anyway, she seems to have turned a corner, and we're hoping that today will be a better day. Hey, Jenny, how you going? Lovely to have you here. Hi, Robin. Great to have you here as well. Thanks for joining me, ladies. All right, so if you'd like to share something about your weekend or what you got up to on the weekend, let me know in the comments. We'd love to chat with you and share with each other as well. It's really lovely when we have that, we have that community around our card making, around our crafting. It's really lovely. Oh, Leslie, I'm so sorry. Yeah, oh, you lost your little Ned, your little dog on the 5th. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, that's really sad. We really, really, our fur babies, they're part of the family, aren't they? They really are our babies. And, yeah, it's so hard when we lose them. So, yeah, my heart goes out to you. That's always really sad and very hard it takes a while to come to terms with that. So you're in my thoughts and prayers. Yeah. All right. Well, we will move on, and I'll let you know some things that are coming up. And then, we can get into our crafting. So feel free to craft along with me today as well. If you have some projects that you've got there on your desk, or feel free to just sit back and relax and to enjoy the creative time or the creativity that I'm sharing with you. All right, the first thing I want to let you know is about bonus days. So bonus days is a promotion that Stampin' Up runs every year. It only usually happens once a year, and it's a fantastic time to get some freebies or some vouchers for some freebies. So it runs from the 6th of January through to the 2nd of February. And during bonus days, I'm talking Australian dollars because we're here in Australia. Well, I'm here in Australia, and a lot of my viewers are, but I know I have some overseas viewers as well. For us, with every $90 purchase, you'll actually receive a $9 coupon code. And then those $9 coupon codes, you can earn as many as you like throughout the month. And it's for multiples of 90. So $90. So every $90 you spend, you'll get an additional $9 coupon. Once you close out the order, Stampin' Up will send those vouchers or coupons to you in an email, and then you'll be able to redeem them next month in from the 3rd to the 28th of February. You'll be able to redeem them for towards your products, so towards your orders next month, which is really awesome. So not only that, but remember too that whenever here in Australia, if you have got, I must remind you too, to earn those coupons though, you do have to have a registered Stampin' Up account in the online store. So if you haven't set up an account, if you usually shop, say, as a guest, for instance, and you just log out without creating an account, you won't be eligible for bonus days, and you won't also be eligible for Stampin' Rewards. So if you want to get those additional freebies, make sure you set up a customer account. Demonstrators already get get it automatically because we have accounts. But if you're a customer, make sure you set up a customer account. It's really easy to do that. If you need any help, feel free to get in contact with me and let me know. I'll be happy to walk you through that. If you are shopping with me or setting me as your demonstrator, I'll be happy to help you with that. But yeah, definitely do that so that you can get these freebies. Now, what I was going to mention too is not only do we get bonus days, but because we have the new Stamp and Rewards program now, anytime your order is $35 or more here in Australia, in Australian dollars, you will get 10% of your order in Stamp and Rewards as well. So not only if you put in a $90 order, you'll get a $9 coupon for bonus days. You're also going to get $9 in Stamp and Rewards. So that's a total of $18. So the Stamp and Rewards can be saved up and you can use them on future orders. The bonus days coupons will need to be redeemed during February, as I mentioned, okay? So, but if you want to put them together with your Stamp and Rewards, even more freebies. So that's a great way to shop. Okay, so that's happening. So that's very exciting. I got some coupons the other day. Had to put in an order on the weekend and got some coupons, so that's exciting. All right, the other thing we have is if you are shopping during January, we also have the product of the month. So product of the month is a new monthly promotion that Stampin' Up! Is running, and every month, we started in December was the first one, and every month there'll be a new different product that you can only get during that month or subsequent months if they run out. You can only redeem it once. And to get this, you do need to purchase $125 in a single order, or at least $125 in a single order. And then you can redeem the product of the month for just $9. So this month, it's a beautiful stamp set with fantastic sentiments on there. It's a really great one to have in your stash with lots of different sentiments for lots of different occasions. And you can team that up with your other stamp sets. So that's the one for January. I know that the December product of the month is still available, which was the Designer Series paper. You might have seen me demonstrate that last month. I did a video on that last month, and it is still available. So if you didn't claim it last month, you've then got the choice whether or not you claim the December product of the month or the January product of the month. And they are only available while supplies last. So getting croaky. My throat lately, oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on, but I keep on getting a real tickle in my throat. And I keep getting this croakiness. So I don't know, it's weird. So I might have a sip of my tea and hope I don't burn my tongue. It's not too bad. I find that warm drinks actually ease your throat. Does anybody else get that? You get constant tickles in your throat? It's really annoying. Okay, so a couple of other things I'll just let you know. I have a class, oh actually, let me tell you about these other things before we get on to classes. We've got 3 new kits that launched this month. So every month Stampin' Up! Puts out new kits. Sometimes it'll be 2 kits, sometimes it'll be 3 kits. This month it was 3, which is awesome. So we've got this one. Now, I haven't printed these back to front, unfortunately, so you are going to see them back to front. But this is the Butterfly Garden kit, and this one is a stamping kit. So you do have the butterfly stamps that come in it, and there's some sentiments as well. And then you've got all these printed pieces as well. Comes with full instructions. Everything you need is in the kit. And so look that one up. That one's really beautiful. And in this kit, you've got the 3 different designs. And I think from memory, there's 3 of each, 3 of each design. So a total of 9 cards, I think, in that one. So check that one out. That one's a really beautiful one. And then we've got 2 other kits that are non-stamping kits. So these are great for those new crafters, or all of the kits are great for new crafters, but these ones especially or those crafters that don't enjoy stamping. There are a lot of card makers out there that make beautiful cards but actually don't do any stamping on them. So this one's a great one, but look at all the beautiful colours and the beautiful florals in there. So that's the Lots to Love kit. Really pretty. And then we've got a really cute one, which is great for the kids. It's Adopt a Pet kit. This is so awesome. I wish this one had been around when my kids were little. They would have loved this, especially my Brookie, because Brooke loves animals. Of course, she works with animals. A lot of you already know that. And yeah, and she would have absolutely loved that. So they can create each of the animals, create each of their little homes, and there's a few little additional playthings for them, and there's a fish for the cat to eat, and there's some guinea pig food. So they can create them, but then they can use their imaginary play and actually play with them as well. And then they've got little adoption certificates as well for each of the animals, which is really cute. So she would have loved that when she was little. So there's that one as well. The children might need, depending on the age of the child, they might need a little bit of help with putting this all together. I watched the video the other day of how to construct them, and especially to, constructing the little homes for them. They might just need, depending on the age of the child, they might need a little bit of help with that. But really, really cute. Or you can perhaps make it for them and then let them just have the enjoyment of playing with it. So really cute. Has anybody purchased those kits yet? Let me know in the comments if you have. I've just put in an order for those ones. So I look forward to seeing them in person, and not this one, because I purchased that for someone, but the other two, they will be available in my next cards and cookies class next month. So so we'll have some new kits there, so that'll be awesome. I do have another class coming up this month. This is my new product card buffet, and it's going to be held on 2 different dates. We've got Wednesday the 21st of January and Saturday the 24th. Sorry, this one's being a little bit curly. Excuse me. It's $35 for the class, or you can get it for free if you make a purchase in my online store of $50 or more, and then register for the class. Then you can get that class for free. Now, you would need to place the order in my online store by tomorrow, the 13th of January, because tomorrow, the 13th of January, which is Tuesday, is the last day to register for the class. So if you'd like to attend this class, but you would like it for free, just place a $50 order with me, and you can come and attend the class for free. So registrations are closing tomorrow. I'm going to put all of the links in the comments in a moment, so that'll be there for you. For this class, as you see, new product card buffet, we are going to be using all new products in this class, and they are new products that have come out in the new mini catalogue. Has everyone got their new mini catalogues? If you're a customer of mine, you should have already received a mini catalogue if you've shopped with me in the last 6 months. Everybody got a complimentary catalogue. If you don't yet have a demonstrator here in Australia, and you would like to get your hands on one of these catalogues, I will actually put the link in the comments. But if you have any issues with that, feel free to get in contact with me. If you don't already have a demonstrator that you're working with. If you do already have your own demonstrator that you're working with, ask them for a copy of the catalogue, and they'll be able to get one to you. So lots and lots of beautiful products in there. We had a little bit of a look through some of those last week. So if you missed my last week's video, you could head over to my YouTube channel. Just look up my name, Mandy Witherby. That's Witherby. You'll see it on my desktop when I put the camera down anyway. And you can go there and have a look at last week's video where I showcased some of those beautiful new products. And we've also got the beautiful online exclusives. We shared some of those last week as well. And this is what we are playing with today, is one of the new products from the online exclusives. So I'm going to show you that shortly. the last thing I wanted to let you know, and sorry, I haven't printed this in the right way for you, so you're going to see it back to front. I have my January tutorial bundles. There are 2 bundles there. We've got tutorial bundle number 1 and number 2. Each one has lots of beautiful stepped up projects in there. So fun folds. We've got some additional products, additional projects which are 3D projects. We've got calendar, and what was the other one? There was a calendar and there was a something else. What's the other one? I was thinking there was a calendar and something else. Wait, was it a pocket? There was a pocket one. No, I think it was just that one. I was thinking there were 2 that were not cards, but I think it was just that one. And the others are all stepped up projects. Now, if you'd like to get your hands on these, you will get, if you place an order with me of $50 or more, between $50 and $100, you'll get the project tutorial number 1 for free from me as a thank you gift. If your order is $100 or over, you'll get both. Now, if you are a demonstrator yourself or you already shop through another demonstrator, if you're a customer, then you can purchase these outright. If each one is $14, or each, bundle is $14. Bundle 1 has got 7 projects, bundle 2 has got 6 projects, or you can get all of them for $28. So if and that is something that you can purchase from anywhere around the world, because they are PDF tutorials, so I can send them to you anywhere around the world. So if that is something that you're interested in, then please feel free to let me know. And I'm pretty sure I've got that on my links as well. So let me put my links in the comments. Oh, hi Amanda, how are you? Lovely to have you here with us. So I'm just going to pop all of those links in the comments for you now, and then you can have a look through those and navigate to which links interested you and where you would like to go from there. There we go. All right, so that's in the comments for you. For those watching on YouTube, I will make sure that all of the links will be in the description below the video. Okay? All right, well, let's get crafting, because we have got an awesome project that has, as I said, it's got some techniques and things in it. So it's a little bit more of a time-consuming one, though I've done the prototype. So now I have the direction and I know exactly what I'm doing. Hopefully it will be a lot quicker than, because last night I was playing with this stamp set, this new stamp set, which I'm going to share with you in a minute. And I thought I wasn't actually going to make a card. I just thought I'll just play with the stamps and, you know, think about what I can do with them while I was watching some Netflix. And before I knew it, I'd actually created a whole card. And then I'm like, oh, I love this stamp set. I want to make another card. So then I made another different card. So very exciting. Oh, hi, Dimity. How are you? Lovely to have you here. All right. Well, let's tip the camera down onto the desktop and we'll get started. And I'll show you this beautiful, beautiful stamp set. And then we can get crafting. All right. So here we go. Just cover up the camera so I don't make you all dizzy while I do the transition. Okay, just bear with me a moment. I'll just get this all set up. Make sure everything's all tightened up. Nice and tight today, so we don't have anything falling. Okay. Oh, I forgot to flip my camera. There you go. You got to see the roof for a moment. All right, we'll zoom in there. There we go. And just straighten this up a little bit. Okay. There we go. All right, I'll move the keyboard because we don't need that now. And we'll just move this over a little bit into the center. Move my Mickey Mouse out of the way. All right. So, there we go. All righty. How's that looking? Is that looking not quite straight. Got my little spirit level out to put on top of my phone to see if everything is straight. It's not quite straight, but this stand is not wanting to cooperate at the minute. I think that's not too bad. All right, we can go with that. How nice is my new desktop? Looks so much better than the old tacky one that got all yucky and dirty and gross. All right, now the new stamp set is that we're going to be using today is called the Unbridled Beauty, and it is from the new online exclusives. So we had not only the new mini catalogue, but we also had some new products release in the online exclusives. I'll move that up a little bit more so we've got a little bit more space there, because these are a bit longer than the old ones. So I'll take this out of the cover so that you can see this a little bit better. It's a bit hard to see them through the cover. So this beautiful stamp set, if you are an animal lover, you're going to love this stamp set, especially if you love horses, which myself and my girls do. So myself and my girls, we used to ride, and especially Brooke started riding when she was about 5. Amber followed a little bit later, but yeah, both the girls used to ride. They both used to have lessons. We have a friend with horses who was Brooke's original teacher, and then she moved down south. So we've been down to visit her a few times, but she's down near Canberra, so it's like several hours drive. But we always love to go and visit her and see the horses as well. And yeah, so anyway, we just love this stamp set. So we've got the full body horse, and then we've got the horse head. Then we've got some little horses, well, not little horses, but horses in the distance. We've got a barn, a fence, some sort of grassy shrubbery, and then we've got the trees here as well. Some lovely sentiments, and a shoe horse, of course, always important to have that. Oh, you just received this stamp set today, Leslie. Fantastic. Your eldest granddaughter loves horses. Oh, this one will be perfect for her. Oh, great choice for me then for today. This one will hopefully pique your creativity, yeah, today. So I wanted to let you know that the size of the stamps in this stamp set are quite a bit larger than the stamps that you see or the images you see on the front cover. So if I'll take the large horse out. We'll put that one on a block actually, because we're going to use that. So you will need for that one a larger block. So this one is block E, because the horse itself is quite large. So I'll just pop the horse on the block. See, that's a good size block for that one. This one looks a little bit, I haven't cleaned that properly. I'll have to give that another clean. But yeah, I'll hold this over the top so you can see the size. It's quite a bit larger. Now, on these new stamp cases, they don't tell us the size of the images, whether or not it's true to size or if it's at a certain percentage like it used to show us before. So you kind of need to open up the stamp sets and see. Some of them are 100%, some of the stamp sets, and others like this where you've got lots of different stamps, they'll be shrunk down a little bit. But anyway, you can sort of see the difference there. And the horse head, I'll show you that as well. So you can see if I lay that one over the top, it's quite a lot larger than the printed image. So there you go. Now I wanted to show you, people have been storing, because these new stamp sets are a little bit different, and we just have the paper packaging that comes in the case, and we don't have that you know, the CD case like we used to have where we could stick the stamps straight inside. What I have been doing, you might have seen lots of different people doing lots of different things, but what I have been doing is I've been tracing around my stamps just with a fine tip Sharpie. Just trying to find it to show you. Oh, hang on a minute. I've got to pick up my pen tin to find it. It's fallen down in there. There we go. So I just use a fine tip permanent marker, This one's just Sharpie brand, but you can use whatever brand. And I just trace around the stamps before I take them off the backing paper. So then I know when I use my stamps exactly where they go back on the plastic, so that I can make, or the acetate, so that I can make sure I can fit them all back on. Because otherwise they're going to get, sometimes, especially when you've got a lot of stamps on there, yeah, it can be hard to fit them back on. So that's just my little technique that I've been doing, and I find that really good and really helpful, really quick and easy. And it also means that as I'm using my stamp set, I can put my case away. Like, I don't need to, some people have got them attached on the inside, but I kind of wanted extra space so that I can put that aside and just have this out as I'm using it. So that's kind of how I've been doing it. But anyway, so that's a little bit about the stamp set. Now, would you like to see what we're making today? As I said, I've got 2 cards designed, but we're going to be doing the one that's got a little bit more detail because I want to show you some techniques on this one. This is my card here that this was my first project with this stamp set. So there are a few things that I will change on the one that we're going to make today. This was my prototype. But it's this beautiful scene with the big horse in the foreground, and then you've got the barn, the fence, and the other horses and the trees all in the background. So that's what we're going to be creating today. So it's a bit of it's a scene card. I'm not 100% happy with the colour of the horse, but I did another one after that, and I liked the colour of the horse a lot better in the second one. So we're going to change up the colour of the horse and just the positioning slightly, and I'm going to add an extra layer. So we're just going to change it up a little bit. But the one of the techniques I wanted to show you today was using the masking paper with this, because everything is in the background and you'll notice nothing overlaps the actual horse. I used masking paper for that, and I haven't used the masking paper a lot. I've used sticky notes for that technique before and things like that, but I thought, you know what, I need to use this masking paper and I need to show people how to use it. So that's what we're going to be playing with today. Also, the embellishments on here, they are new as well from, they're actually from, now are they from the mini catalogue? I think they are from the mini. Wait, let me check. Let me check. They're these ones, the faux bronze pentagons. So they look bronze, but they're not actual bronze. And I'm just going to check in the back of the catalogue, because now we're allowed to open this on camera. Yes, the faux bronze pentagons are from the new mini catalogue on page 39. They're part of the nature, what it's called, Nature Walk. So they're part of the Nature Walk suite. And in fact, I was thinking that this stamp set lends itself really well to go beautifully with the DSP from this suite, actually. So, yeah, if you don't, I'll show you the other card in a minute, but yeah, it will go really beautifully with this one as well. So, and you've even got some texture in here that you can probably incorporate too with the stamp set. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about that one. Okay, all right. The other card, I will give you a quick, let me see. Will I give you a quick sneaky peek now, or will I show you at the end? Oh, thanks, Julie. You think it looks really realistic. It was really fun to create it, actually, and it's not that hard. You know what? I'm going to save the other card till the end to show you at the end. Just remind me to show you. Yeah, I'll keep it as a little incentive. All right. So to make this card, we're going to need our layers first. So I prepared them ahead of time. So it's very easy, 3 easy layers. We've got crumb cake as our cardstock, our card base. So this is just half a sheet of A4 cardstock cut in half at 14.85 centimetres. And then scored at 10.5, folded, really easy. Then I've got a layer of early espresso, and this one is 14.45 by 10.1 centimeters. So that's going to be our layer. And then this one's going to be the one that we're going to stamp on. So we're going to shrink our design a little bit. And this one is going to be 14.05 by 9.7 centimeters. And this one's just basic white. I just picked up normal basic white. Often when I'm using Stampin' Blends, I will pick up the thick basic white. But because we're matting it anyway, I thought I'd just grab that. And actually, to be honest, I just grabbed it. I didn't really think too much about it. And I think this one was only on normal as well. This was just on standard basic white because I didn't know what I was doing at first with that one. I just started playing and yeah. So you can use either, but often the thick basic white I will recommend when you're using a lot of Stampin' Blends. It's got a better absorption. But anyway, that's what we're using today. Okay, so very easy. So yeah, so with this one, I did because I had already cut the card front out of the basic white, I didn't have a matte layer with this one because I hadn't, once I designed it all, I designed it as I was going, I didn't allow extra for a matte layer. So I thought, oh, this time I'm going to change it up. And I really liked it on the early espresso. So I thought for this one, we'll still have the early espresso matte, but then we'll actually put it on a crumb cake card base, which these colours will go really beautifully together. All right, so that's what we're going to start with, the white. We are going to be using, I'll just pop the card over there out of the way for the minute. We're going to need some grid paper because we are going to be using Stampin' Blend, so make sure you've got some grid paper. We need some masking paper, and I'm going to actually do the masking. I'll show you how to create the design for the masking first because that's going to be our first step. And then we've got a whole heap of Stampin' Blends in different colours. Now, you don't have to have this many colours. You can do it with less colours. And in fact, I'm going to take this colour out because this was the Cajun Craze. That was the light and dark Cajun Craze I used for this horse, which gives it a really deep roan sort of colour. But I was going for more of a chestnut colour because I love chestnut horses. So I'm changing that up. I'm taking those ones out. And the other colour I used on the second one was the SU500, which is which one? It's in here somewhere. Oh, this one. Yeah, this one is a lighter brown, so that's the one we're going to use this time. I'll go through all the colours as we use them, and then I've got some inks here as well. So we've got, I've got them around the wrong way. Hang on. We've got Misty Moonlight, Crumb Cake, Early Espresso, Balmy Blue, and Granny Apple Green. So we've got colours for the grass, the two for the sky, and then we're stamping everything in Early Espresso, which we're going to use first. So we'll take that out. And then we've got some crumb cake just for the sentiment as well, around the sentiment label. Okay, you need your blocks. So I'll just pop the inks up here out of the way. Oh, we need some blending brushes and sponge daubers. So I've got two sponge daubers, one for the crumb cake, that's just for the sentiment for later. And we've got some, actually the Misty Moonlight is not for this project, it's for the other one. So it's just the crumb cake one you need, but we do need blending brushes for this. So I've got some blending brushes in the regular size and the small for the grass and the sky. Okay, so I'll pop those over to the side because we don't need them just yet. That's the last step before we do the sentiment. Okay, so that is everything. And then we've got our linen thread as well, which we were going to use to wrap around the card, and our embellishments, which I showed you before. There's no dies or anything on this one, so super easy. You just need your paper trimmer. All right. Now, the first thing we're going to do with this card is, well, I'm going to put my glasses on before I start. We're going to stamp our large horse on here first. Then we're going to create a mask for the large horse. And then we're going to create our background. Okay. So let's start with our horse. Where did I put my stamp? Here it is. Everything, all of the images on this card, including the sentiment, is all stamped with early espresso. Okay. You could do it in black as well if you want to, if you like a really heavy color. But I wanted more of the brown tones, more natural tones on this card. You could also perhaps try the saddle brown stays on ink if you wanted to do watercolors with this. I'll just move this up a little bit so everyone can see. Yeah, you could use stays on if you want to do watercolors rather than use the Stampin' Blends. All right, so just make sure we get this large horse inked up really well. That looks pretty good. Now, our first one, I stamped it up a little bit high. So with this one, I'm going to bring it down a little bit lower. And as I said, like I was really working this out as I went along with the first card. So, and I need to leave room for the, yeah, so I'll do it about there. Okay, just re-ink. And then let's just go for it down here. Okay, so it's stamped slightly off to the left side, so that we can fit our barn and our other horses in the background on the right side. All right, beautiful. Now that looks really dark at the moment because the ink is still wet. It'll lighten up a little bit as it dries. I'm just going to pop that over to the side. Now we need to create our mask. So we're going to take a piece of the Stampin' Up! Masking paper, and I had some that I used yesterday. So we'll grab that out. Now with the masking paper, there's 12 sheets in the packet, and they are within a little, not a pouch, but there's like a protective, shiny cardstock on the front. Actually, I just had a thought. That would be really great to use with the brayer because it's glossy cardstock. Oh, might have to have a play with that. Yeah, so that's on the back. Was that on the front as well? No, it's just on the back, just to protect it. Okay, so with your masking paper, you have, what it is it's sticky, okay, on one side. It's not double-sided, it's sticky on one side, but you have a paper coating covering the sticky, all right? So the back of that is kind of shiny. That is not the side that you stamp on when you're creating your mask. It's got this other paper side, which is like a matte finish, and that's the side you want to stamp on, okay? So just stamping on the matte side, not on the shiny side. Because if you stamp on the shiny side, the ink's not going to dry. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to just ink your horse up again, or your stamp, whatever stamp it is that you're using, and you're going to just stamp that down anywhere. It's fine, anywhere on your masking paper. Okay, we'll let that dry for a minute. In fact, I probably should have done that one first. I'll just close my ink pad up for the moment, and we'll clean our horse stamp. I actually just stamp him off a little bit. I've got 2 layers here of grid paper today because we're using a lot of Stampin' Blends, and one I'm using ordinary basic white cardstock today, not the thick. And also too, I've got my new desk desk background, so I don't want to get any ink going through my cardstock onto that. Do you know what it is? I think that smudgy bit, it's actually on the other side of the stamp. I think it's my fingerprints on the other side of the stamp. That's okay. All right, so dry that off. Okay, so now whenever you're creating a mask, what you want to do is we want it, hang on a minute. Has anybody never heard of or never tried creating a mask for their project? Let me know in the comments if you have never heard of what a mask is for stamping, a stamping mask, or if you've never tried it. Pop it in the comments and let me know. I'd be interested to know how many people have actually tried this technique. Basically what we're going to do is, we've got this horse stamped here. We want things to look like they're in the background behind the horse. We want him to look like he's in the foreground and everything else to be in the background, apart from the grass. Like the grass is obviously in the foreground, but some of it is behind him. Some of it here is behind his feet. Okay, his or her. I think it's a her, actually. It's a mare. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to create a mask to put over the top of the stamp that we have just created, to make everything else look like it's stamped behind it, so that we're not stamping over the top of the horse that we've just stamped. Okay, does that make sense? So we're going to cut out this second one that we've created, and you can do this with any of the stamps, like any stamp you can do this with. What we want to do to create the mask is we actually want to cut just inside the lines. Normally when we're cutting out an image to put onto a card, we would cut around the outside of the line or outside of the image, so that you have that detail. But for this instance, we want to be able to see the detail on the stamped horse. So we need to make sure that our mask sits just within that outline of the design, okay? Because otherwise, when we add the other stamps over the top, there would be a white gap between the horse and the second stamp that we're stamping over the top, okay? So I'll show you what I mean. The ears are the hardest part on this one because the ears are only tiny. So I'm going to start with this ear, and we're just cutting just inside the lines. Now you've got a little bit of mane here that's a little bit sort of a messy mane, like if there's a few little loose strands. We're going to go around those as well. And this is probably the most time-consuming part of the whole project, just because we want a little bit of, we just want to take a little bit of care to make sure we're getting inside those lines. And the tail is a little bit sort of a sketchy design as well. So as I'm cutting, I am turning my paper, trying not to turn my scissors too much, trying to keep my scissors in the same position, just opening and closing my blades, but actually turning the paper. Okay, so with this tail, it gets a little bit tricky because it is a sort of sketchy line. And just to make it a bit easier for myself, so I haven't got all this excess cardstock I'm trying to manage, I'll just cut that bit out. Then I'm going to take this up. Okay, so you kind of get the idea. Okay, then being careful when you come up to the top of the tail and then go around the rump, or the hind quarters as they're called on a horse. Down through the fetlock there, around the hoof or hoof, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So depending on the design that you are creating using masks, some of the stamps that we use are much easier to do this with because they are more of a solid shape, or, you know, more of a less intricate shape. So it really depends on the design that you're creating. So this one is a little bit more sort of fiddly, but the results are really worth the time. Once you've created the mask, you can then use the mask several times until it's no longer sticky to adhere to your project. However, we do have the multi-purpose liquid glue. And did you know that multi-purpose liquid glue can also be used as a removable glue? So you could even try with your mask to add a little bit of, like if it loses its sticky, add a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue to the back of it, just a small, like just a fine thin layer. Let it dry until it becomes tacky, and then it becomes a repositionable item. So you can actually use, you know, one of your masks over and over and over again in that way if it loses its original tackiness. Did you know you could do that? All right, so I do have my original mask that I created for my first project, but I wanted to show you today, which I thought I could have used today to save time, but I wanted to actually show you how to do this from scratch. So that, I could have done it the other way and cheated and made things a lot quicker and easier for myself, but I wanted to show everybody just how to actually do this. So if you get extra pieces as you're creating your mask that are sort of in your way as you're cutting, just, chop them off as I just did. Now, when you come up to the ears, this is where you've got to be a little bit careful because the ears are very tiny. So if you don't love fussy cutting, and I know some of you don't, this might not be a technique that you want to do. Or it might be one that you want to try, but maybe try it with a less detailed stamp. All right, there we go. So we've got our image. I'm just going to take a little bit more off the back. Some of the line art on this horse is a little bit thicker, and then it gets a little bit thinner in places because it's kind of a sketchy hand-drawn image. Getting that little hoof caught in my scissors. There we go. So that's not too bad. I might just take the tummy in. Let's just have a look at it's a fairly thick line on the tummy. So then what you can do, I think we'll be good for that. All right. So we'll get rid of that. Now this masking paper, because it's got the adhesive and everything on it, put that in the rubbish, and it's got that shiny background. Any bits that you don't use, if you're not going to keep them, you can keep them. Those little bits for if you're going to cut some smaller masks. But if you don't think you're going to use it, pop it in the regular rubbish bin, not in the paper recycling. Okay, because it's got that shiny finish on the back and it's got the adhesive on it. All right, so before I take the adhesive off the back, I'm going to show you. So now if I lay that on my image, it should, this is why I'm going to test it before I adhere it, or before I remove the adhesive, I'm going to make sure that it is sitting inside the lines of the one that I stamped on the card front. Okay, so I can see that I've got the line on the outside there. Can you see if I lift that up? See the outside line there of the horse, of its back? You can see that still as I place this down. Okay, so that's great. So that's what we want. All right, we want that to be sitting within the outline of the horse. Okay, so that should be fairly good. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the backing paper from this masking paper. And this is where, if you went on the masking paper, there's a split down the middle where you can peel it back easily. But if you haven't gone over that center part, you just have to kind of find an edge to get up. I don't think I went over it anywhere. Oh, I did actually down here with the hoof, down the bottom of the legs. There we go. So I found that little bit, and then you just peel that off. Okay. Now I've got a little bit of extra down here on the hoof. There we go. And on these ones, just peel that off. And I think we should be right. All right. Now, just a warning about the masking paper. It is extremely, extremely sticky. Now, if I just stuck that down now as it is, I do risk it tearing the cardstock, okay? It might not, but it is super, super sticky. So what I like to do is you can either dab it on your clothes or put it on your skin to get a few skin cells. I know it sounds gross, but just to make it less sticky. And actually I put it on the hairiest part of my arm. It's probably better to do it on the inside of your arm unless you're allergic to adhesives. Maybe do a little test patch first just to make sure if you've got sensitive skin. That will just reduce some of the tackiness on the mask, but it'll still be sticky, okay? If you've got cotton jeans or cotton pants, you can put it on your pants and, yeah, just get a little bit of fuzz on there just so that it's not too super sticky. And then once you've got it, a little bit of the tackiness removed, then you can place it down on your image, lining it all up. With this one, you've got to watch where the legs are. Make sure you get this all lined up. I haven't got that positioned quite right. Let me go with the head first. Line the head and the ears up first and then do the legs. And the belly and the back. And then we'll do the tail last. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our mask on there. Now that mask is going to be removed at the end, and we've got our cute little silhouette here too, haven't we? That mask is going to be removed at the end, and then we're going to colour the horse last. I mean, you could colour the horse first and then do that, but then because I'm colouring with blends, it would mean that the horse would remain damp for a little bit and then the mask wouldn't stick well to it. But I want to get all the other stamping and all the other bits done first. So it's best to adhere your mask when it's still dry, okay? Because otherwise it's not going to stick if this is still damp. Even though the Stampin' Blends do take a little, like they're fairly quick to dry, it would still take a bit of time. Okay. So let's get our other stamps all mounted up on our blocks. We need our fence. So we'll put our fence, actually our fence, because it is long and flexible, I'm going to sit it down on some paper first, let it relax into its natural shape and then pick it up with my block. Being careful when you stamp the fence, it does have little grassy bits at the bottom of the fence so you know which way up it goes. All right, so just make sure you look at your stamp before you go to stamp it. If you're not sure, just test it first on some scrap paper. Okay, we want our barn. So I'll get let's see what size. I just think I'll get a normal size D block for the barn. We've got the horses in the distance. We just need a small block for them. And then we've got our trees and our grass. Here's our grasses. Use a smaller block for that. And then our tree. Now it's a single tree and I've stamped it a few times, so just pop that on there. And then we're going to need our sentiment as well, and we're using From the Heart. We'll use that same one because that was a good one. I need an extra block for that. Let me reach and grab an extra block for that. I might actually just make sure that I've got that straight on my block so when I go to stamp that on my sentiment later, that's a bit better. Okay. Alrighty. Let's pop my horsey stamp away and we'll get all these other ones ready to go. Now, as I said, everything's going to be positioned slightly differently on this one because I've got a slightly smaller piece of cardstock that I'm working on because yeah, I'll be adding an extra layer on this one, but it'll basically be the same. Oh, my phone is dropping again already. So let me just straighten that up for you. Sorry. Just tighten everything back up again. It's losing its strength. Everything just keeps on falling down, hopefully. Is that okay? Is that okay? I think I've lost my... There we go. All right. Now, what I was going to say is any of these products that I'm using today, if you are looking for them, you can find them in my online store, and you can get to my online store two ways, either going to my blog, which is mandyspapercraftcreations.blogspot.com, or you can go to my website, mandywitherby.stampinup.net, and you'll see the shop button at the top of the both of those pages. Okay, we're going to do our stamping in early espresso. You can also subscribe to my newsletter as well via my blog if you would like to stay up to date with all the latest Stampin' Up news, specials, promotions, all those good things, weekly creative inspiration, tips, tricks, techniques, all sorts of things. You can subscribe to my blog if you would like to. All right, taking a sip of my tea. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp our barn. Now I'm just going to work out where I'm going to position everything with this one, because I feel like the fence needed to go up a little bit higher. So from where I had it before, and I'm just working out how high up I need that. I think I need that up about there. So the barn will need to go about there. All right, so I'll just put my finger there. So I'm going to pop the barn here, and then the additional trees, they'll just be off to the edge. Okay, barn. Now, another thing I didn't do super well with the first one was line up my fence. So I'm going to try and line up my fence a little bit better this time. And I want that right over close here to the barn, but without stamping it over the top of the barn. You will notice that I'm going to be stamping over the top of the horse now. Hang on, let's make sure I'm doing this straight. Let's get this nice and straight. So that's going to go there. All right, now don't freak out, because remember, we've got our masking paper on the horse image. So where I've stamped over the top of that, you're not going to see that part, because that's going to be hidden by the horse. And then the extra part of our stamp is going to be stamped over here. And we might have our gate, because we sort of can't see much of the gate here. Well, let's see. Oh, you will see a little bit of it there. So maybe we'll just do the fence part on this side. We've got to go past his tail too. So we're going to have to go from here across. There we go. Okay. All right. So clean that one off. Now this is a deeply pigmented stamp. So you might find that your stamps turn a little bit sort of pinkish. They might not be sort of quite so clear as they were before you started using them. That's okay. It's just the pigment of the ink absorbing into the polymer, but it doesn't affect how the polymer stamps. It'll still work beautifully. Okay. All right. The next thing we are going to stamp is the horses in the background. Now, with the other one, I had them sort of situated in here underneath the horses, between the horse's face and the barn, but I kind of haven't left enough space this time. So I'm thinking, will I put them up here behind the barn? Yeah, and then I can still have the trees over there. So I might put them up here in the field behind the barn. We'll see how that will look. It'll be a little bit different to the other one, but that's okay. You can do this however you like. Okay, so just need our two little horsies there in the background. I feel like it's a mother and foal. Maybe it's not, but I feel like it looks like that. Okay, then we want our trees. So we're going to put one tree over here near the barn, going off the side there, and then our other trees are going to be over here. So we're going to do one over here, and then we're going to do another one just slightly higher than that and just overlapping them slightly. So we've got 3 trees. Okay, so we'll give that one a clean. Dry it off a bit. Okay, and then, so we'll just close that one up for the moment. So we've got our barn, our fence, our trees, our other horses, and we're going to do some grass in the foreground here, but I'm going to use, this time for the grass, I'm going to actually use some granny apple green. Now, if you wanted to, you've got 2 options here. Well, I mean, you've got probably lots of options, but in my mind, you can do 2 options. You can either stamp it in the early espresso, as everything else is stamped in the early espresso, and then go over it with your granny apple green Stampin' Blends, or you can do like I did with mine and actually stamp it in granny apple green for the grass and then do your blending over the top. Yeah, so it's up to you which way you want to do it. I'm going to do it the same. I just realised I didn't clean the barn. I'm going to do it the same as I did it on the first one, because I liked that sort of grassy, that green grassy look. Okay, so granny apple green. And we'll take that grass stamp, and we're just going to stamp this randomly. I'm going to stamp some over the horse as well, over the horse's hooves. It will look quite dark to begin with, but then it does go lighter. So don't panic when you first see it and think, oh my goodness, that's so dark. It won't stay that dark. We're just going to stamp these here and there, like that. I'm going to put some up here in the grassy area up there, and let's put one over here as well. Okay, all right, might even do a little bit, no, I might leave that. I think I'll just leave it there in the sort of foreground there. Okay, alrighty. So we'll give that a bit of a clean. Is anyone crafting along with me today? Let me know in the comments if you are crafting or if you are just sitting back and relaxing today. It's a bit of a contrast today, isn't it, compared to the hot weather we had on the weekend? Well, yesterday was a bit of a funny old day too, but a couple of days before that, what was it, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they were such hot days. And today, sorry, just taking another sip of my tea, and today is overcast, rainy and cool. Really bizarre. All right, now while we've still got our mask in place, we are going to do some more colouring, and we're going to use, we'll start with our greens. So I've got, right, so I've got our granny apple green for the grassy parts that are along the bottom of the fence. If I can get the cap off mine, it's very tight. Okay, I'm going to use the bullet tip for the little grassy bits at the bottom of the fence and around the barn there too. I'm just going over those stamped lines just with a bit of granny apple green. There's a little bit here too around the tail. We'll just add that in there. Yeah. Okay, so that's all good. I've got some, we're going to do the trees in the background as well. And for the trees, I've got light and dark old olive. So I'm going to add a bit of dark old olive on the detail of the trees and just around sort of the, you know, where the shadows would be, where the darker parts would be. We want a little bit of contrasting colour in our trees. Oh, you're certainly not complaining about the weather, Leslie. Yeah, you prefer the cool, wet weather to the hot. Yeah, it is quite a bit of a relief, isn't it? Right, and then we're using the light old olive, and I'm just going over the dark colour that I already laid down to just blend that in a little bit, but to give us that contrast of light and dark in our trees. Okay, it's very subtle, but it's there. And then we're going to do our big trees. Now, when you're using your Stampin' Blends, I know a lot of people have been saying to me, even recently again, that they're still not sure about using their Stampin' Blends, and they're not really confident using them, or they have trouble using them. They're not really sure how to blend them. It's really super easy. So all I'm doing here is just doing little spots, dots, stripes, dabbing of the Stampin' Blend. Now, the trick with it is, if you want to blend colours, it's important that the first colour that you laid down is still a little bit damp when you lay down the second colour to get a really good blend. Okay, if you want those colours to blend well together. Yeah, so just work on small areas at a time. Don't try and do like a whole big image all at once, or or a large area sort of all at once. Just you do little bits at a time. All right, so that was the dark, and now I'm going to use the brush tip of the light. Oh, I'll start over here because that's where I started. And we want to make sure that that's still, the first colour we laid down is still a little bit damp. And we're just going over and just blending those colours in. Now, I want a little bit of light and shade in these colours, so I'm not going to blend super hard with those, okay? Depending on the image that you're colouring, if you're colouring a horse, for instance, you might want a bit more of a blend of those colours, but we're colouring trees here, so we want to see a bit of light and dark in the foliage. Okay, and look, that's as easy as it is. And look, we've got that beautiful tone. Can you see how we've got that light and dark in there? If you wanted to go back in with a bit more dark, you can go back in if you want to make the darker tones a little bit more obvious. But if you're going to do that while it's still wet, okay? Okay, we're back, I think. Let me know if we're back. Sorry about that. My internet was just playing up, probably because of the weather. And it paused there for a moment. Am I back? Can everyone see me? Hi, Glenda. Great to have you here. All right, I think we're back now. Oh, good. Thumbs up. I'm getting some thumbs up. Fantastic. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so as I was saying, yeah, so I've added a little bit more dark there. If you find you've gone too dark, go back over it, blend it back out, and soften it back up again with your lighter colour. Okay, super easy to do. All right, now we're going to do the little horses. Or not the little horses, but the horses in the distance. And for that I used light pecan. No, that's my bronze. I just used the light pecan. So because they're in the distance, I'm not going to add any, I'm just using the bullet tip because they are smaller images. I'm not going to do any blending on these because they are in the background, and in the actual stamped image, it already has a bit of light and shade anyway. It sort of shows where those shadows are on the image. So I don't really need to do too much with those. Oops, we better do the tail though. That's important. Okay, that's as easy as that is. And all I did with that is I'm basically just dabbing the tip very lightly onto the cardstock because it's a smaller image. And as I said, that will continue to blend out. Now I noticed that the horses up here, they are eating some grass, and I missed that before, so I'll come back in with my dark granny apple green, and again I'm just using tiny little dabs of colour to just add that green in there where they are on the grass. Okay. All right. Now what I might do, I think, is just add a little bit more of the grass stamp just here. I want to just try and get some here. In the background, so it's sort of going near the horses there, so it sort of flows out to there. Okay, so you won't see that bit that's on the neck there because that's on the mask. Okay. All right. All right, now where are we up to? So we've done all of that. We've done that, the barn. So for the barn, we're going to use some ivory and bronze for the barn. So I'm going to lay down the darker colour first, which is the bronze. Okay, so I'm going to put that just here on the roof, and where all of these dark lines are, where it's already showing me where the darkest colour is going to be, or the shadows, that's where I'm going to add the bronze. Okay. So along the roof there, because we'd have a bit of shadow there. Wherever you think there's going to be a bit of shadowing or it needs a bit of detail, that's where you'll put the darker colour. Okay. All right. And then you're going to go over that with the ivory, and I'll use the brush tip this time. I find for blending, for me, the brush tip is easier to blend the colour. I know that when Amber colours, she actually uses the bullet tip the majority of the time. She likes working with the bullet tip. She likes having more precision, whereas I like blending with the brush tip. And where you've got any harsh lines, just go over them to just soften them and blend them in to the lighter colour. Okay, and that's as easy as that is. If you want to go back in again with any extra detail, you can go back in with the darker colour again. Now for the, which one did I use now? For the fence palings, I think it was this one. Let me just test that. Yes, for the fence paling, I'm using the SU200. So that is part of the dark blends combo. So I've just got 2 fence palings on this one because the other ones are going to be behind the horse. So that's easy. And I think that's all of our colouring, apart from when we come back to the big horse when we remove our mask. But before we remove the mask, we're going to do all of our colouring with our blending brushes. So now we want our, reaching across, we want our Balmy Blue, Misty Moonlight, and our Granny Apple Green. And we're going to start with the Granny Apple Green at the bottom first. So I've got 2 brushes here. I've got a regular size brush and a small brush for adding extra little details, because we need to add a bit of extra green sort of like in here in these smaller sections. So we're going to use the smaller brush. But when you're doing this big area at the bottom, you can use the larger brush. So now we're going to do some blending techniques using ink and blending brushes. So you'll notice I loaded up my brush just straight on the ink pad. A lot of people use the ink on a block, like a palette, which you can do. You can just use a clear block. You can dab your ink, and that's what I do sometimes, but in this case, I'm not. You can put your ink onto a block, then pick your ink up from the block and use it as a palette like that. So pick it up on your brush, tap it off onto some scrap paper first before you go straight onto your project. Otherwise, you're going to get a heavy blob of ink when you first start. And I like to start off the page and then bring the colour in that way. And then it blends in much nicer. Okay, we're going to go up here underneath the horse and over towards the barn. We've got lots of great colour in there. Let's pick up a bit more, tap off again. I'm going to come in this side this time. Over here. Under the horse's belly. Now, we want to make sure that we don't go over the barn. So here's where I'm going to swap to my small brush. Same thing again. Just check your brush. You notice how I get some streaks there? Sometimes if your brush is, you've got some old ink on your brush that might be dry, that might have dried and caused the bristles to be a little bit more, well, dry, I suppose, and more sort of separated. You can wash your brushes out and dry them. They do take a while to dry. You've got to make sure they're completely dry before you use them again on your ink pads. But I don't tend to. I just, because I have a lot of brushes for the different colours, so I just reapply the ink and it just moistens what was there before, and you can just, you know, do a few tests on your scrap paper first. But same sort of thing. And then we're just going to go into these smaller sections because I don't want to get any of that green ink on top of the barn. Well, like on the barn, I should say, not on top of the barn, but on the barn. So just adding a little bit of green in there around those horses. It's a nice lush green paddock, this one. Now we're going to need to take a bit of green over here because there's probably going to be a little bit of green pasture behind the horse here as well before we get to the sky part. But the pasture and the sky are sort of going to meet. Then what I'm going to do is with my small brush, I'm just going to go around the edges again just to add a little bit of definition around the edges, get a bit deeper colour just around the edges just to sort of frame it a little bit more. You can even do that part with a dauber if you'd like to, but I've already got the blending brushes out, so we're just using the blending brushes today for that. All right, so now we'll go on to our sky. So now we've got our grass, and I have gone a bit heavier with the grass on this one than I did on my first one, but that's okay. It's nice and lush, this paddock. All right, so now we're going to use our blues. Now I'm going to do the majority in balmy blue, and then we're just going to add some little highlights in misty moonlight. So I've got my two balmy blue ink pads. Now being careful here, I've got a lot of green over here. I don't want to mix the green in with the blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my paper around. So that actually I'm going to turn it right over. So as I'm blending, I'm not picking up that green ink and taking that into my balmy blue ink. because that will just muddy it all up and make it gross. So same technique, this time working from the top down. We're going to create our sky. Now I feel like my Balmy Blue ink pad is a little bit drier, not as juicy as my Granny Apple Green. So it needs a little bit extra pressure to apply the ink. I'm taking that sky right down to those trees. Here's where our grass and our skies, our sky, I should say, not our skies, become one. Because you know when you're looking in the distance and you see where the ground and the sky sort of meet in the distance, that's what we're kind of creating now. So nice circular motions. You can go clockwise or anti-clockwise, whatever is comfortable for you, or as your arm gets tight, in my case, in one direction, then you change directions. All right, that's looking great. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit just in here, just to sort of blend the sky and the grass a little bit there. Go around those trees. There's a little bit that needs some sky in here behind those little trees, but I don't want to go over the whole tree because I don't want to take away from the green that I've applied there. Let's just kind of blend that in around there a little bit. All right, great. And then we'll just add a touch of the Misty Moonlight around the edges. Now the Misty Moonlight is a very deep colour, so just go easy with that. Don't apply it too heavy to begin with because you can't take the colour away, but you can always add more colour. Okay, see how I always start off the page and then bring the colour in. And you can just add some, and then just bring that in as you want to deepen the colour around the edges. Okay. All right, that's pretty good. I think I'm fairly happy with that. Great. A bit of fluff on there. All right. Move all our brushes out of the way. Okay, now I think we've got everything done before, except for the big horse, which is our last part of the project. So let's check. We've got our trees done. You know what we didn't do? We didn't do the trunks of the trees. Now, what colour did I use that? SU400. SU400. Let me find that. There we go. And I'm just using the bullet tip. I'm glad I wrote this all down. Just going over the tree trunks. And it is a good time to do this after you've done your colouring, actually, because otherwise we'd be colouring over the top of that. And just going over those tree trunks with a little bit of that brown just to make that look a little bit more. I know we've stamped it in brown, but we've just added a whole heap of colour over the top. So it'll just make that look a little bit more realistic. Okay. There we go. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. So we've done that. We've done the background. We've done the sky. We've done the grass. We've got our fence. Our barn is coloured. Our extra tree. Our horses, they're coloured. I think we are ready to reveal our big horsey. Are we ready for the big reveal? All right. So now we're going to very carefully lift up our mask. Now, if you do this really well and you don't tear it, you'll be able to use it for other projects. There we go. So look at that. So now you can see everything else is behind the horse. Now we're going to colour the horse, and then you're going to see the whole scene come together. Now for this one, we're going to use the, what colour did I use? SU 500 for the horse this time. I'm going to make it a little bit of a different colour to the original one. All right, let's just test. Yep, beautiful. All right. So now we're just going to colour all of the horse. We're going to come back over the halter with a bit of darker colour in a moment, but we're just going to colour the whole horse with this colour first. We'll come back to those legs. Now, as you're working with the body, as I discovered, you want to keep moving fairly quickly so that you don't get too much variation in the colour. And just be careful when you're going back over colour that you've already laid down, that you don't go too heavy, because you want it to blend. Now, of course, on an actual horse, you're going to have light and dark tones, especially how the light is hitting the horse's coat, etc. So a little bit of tonal difference is okay, but you want it to remain fairly natural looking. Now I'm going to swap colours, swap ends, and just go to my bullet tip for the finer details. We're going to come back in with the hooves as well and make them a different colour. They're going to be a little bit darker. Add in some extra colour there. Now I'm going to add some extra layer on the mane to make that just a little bit darker, and then on the tail as well. Okay, we'll just let that settle for a minute, because that colour will keep absorbing into the cardstock. Okay, now for the hooves, I think I used, did I write that down? No, I didn't, but I think I used this really deep one, the SU 200. Just to colour in the hooves, and they are very small, so you just need to basically just touch the tip of the marker to the cardstock, and I'm just dabbing very carefully, and we're going to do the same with the halter, and you only need to do the part of the halter that goes over the muzzle, because the rest of the halter is already coloured in what we stamped in the early espresso. So it's only that tiny little bit that is over the the muzzle there. So there we go. So that is completed. I think we have finished that, all the colouring part. So you can see all the Stampin' Blends that have gone through, hence my 2 layers of scrap paper, just to be sure. Okay, so now we can start layering everything up. Now I might just let that finish drying for a moment, and we'll stamp our sentiment while we're waiting. We're going to stamp, I need these 2 colours. Did I get out a scrap of crumb cake? Ah, that's what I forgot, a scrap of crumb cake. All right. So we need a piece. Where's my ruler now? My goodness. We need a piece. This one is 1.3 centimeters wide. So let me grab my cardstock. I've got lots of scrap. This one's a little bit wider, so I might just trim this down. Whoops, bumping my lights there. Just pop that off to the side. Now putting the rest of the card together is pretty quick. All the colouring and everything of and creating the mask, that's all the hardest part already done. Not that it's hard, it's just the more time consuming part. Put that upside down. Can tell because I can tell I've cut it on the other side. Okay, just using my lines on my trimmer because I'm cutting a very narrow piece. So I'm using those additional lines on there to get that lined up. There we go. Make sure that's nice and straight. So that looks pretty good. All righty. So stamp our sentiment onto that one. I think that's about the same width. Yep, beautiful. Good. Okay, so we're going to stamp in Early Espresso. We're stamping From the Heart because I think that's a sentiment that can be used for lots of different occasions. So it's fairly generic. There we go. We'll give that a little clean. So tell me, has anybody ever ridden a horse? Are any of you horse riders, or perhaps are you horse owners? Let me know in the comments. Oh, I think I didn't clean that quite right, so I got some more ink off that. Whoops. So when I've been riding horses since I was about 18 months old. Didn't really learn to ride properly until I was about, I could trot, I could rise to the trot, but I didn't really learn to canter properly or gallop or any of that till I was a teenager. I think I was about 13, 14. When I was 14, I actually learnt to ride bareback because I was living in the country for a little while. And I had a friend who had a horse and she taught me how to ride bareback. So that was really exciting. I kind of was forced to. Oh, you were riding alone at the age of 4, Dimity. Oh, wow. That's amazing. All right, we're going to add a little bit of crumb cake around the edges of our sentiment label. Yeah, and then when I was a teenager then until I was married, I basically went riding just about every weekend, and we got to know the owners of the riding school so well that my friend and I, and we became very experienced, so my friend and I used to be able to take our 2 regular horses that we always rode out on our own. We didn't have to have a trail leader with us, and we used to just take the horses out ourselves and just just have so much fun. Just do all the trails and, you know, go galloping up the hills and across the paddocks, and yeah, it was so much fun. And then we go on some like day trips where there'd be like a big group of people, and obviously you'd had a leader, somebody from the riding school with you for those. I remember some of them though, we went in like really bad conditions because it was a full day. You'd booked it, you know, paid for it so far in advance. Then the day came, it would be really rainy and gross and muddy, and we'd still go, and it was so much fun. But the one thing I remember is the leeches. Oh my goodness, they were gross and disgusting. And you get these leeches, even while you're on horseback, you get leeches all over your boots, up your legs. The horses had leeches on them because they would just, you'd be going through the bush. So you just pick them up off the trees and the shrubs and everything. Oh, it was, yeah. Leslie said, many years ago, your granddaughter went for a short ride on Sunday, and they are, your granddaughters, sorry, went for a short ride on Sunday. They are aged 8 and 6. Oh, lovely. That's so nice. I love hearing about kids that get into horse riding, and, you know, I miss it so much, but I can't ride anymore now with my back. So that's one of the very hard things that I had to give up when my back got really bad as I got older. So I've only ever fallen off once, and that was because I rode at a different place one time, and they put me on a horse that wasn't properly broken, and it was really hard in the mouth, and it didn't have smooth gaits, so you couldn't even stay in the saddle when you were cantering or galloping. And yeah, what happened? I lost my stirrups, I think, and then I lost the reins, and then I just couldn't stay on because the gaits were so uneven, and it was so rough. I've never ridden a horse rougher than that. And so I ended up actually having to slide myself off at full gallop, mind you. So yeah, and I wonder why I have a sore back. Well, I have a bad or injured back now. Not actually specifically from that, but I think I had some minor injuries, but nothing major from that fall, but I remember being pretty sore. Anyway, when I got back, because the horse then of course took off, and I had to walk the rest of the way back, and my friend who was riding as well, and her husband I think was also with us at the time, you know, they had their horses and they walked back with me. I can't remember if they walked on the ground or if they stayed on their horses. Anyway, when we got back, you know what they said? They said, oh yeah, I mean, and this is going back a really, really long time, okay? So this is before, you know, all the current insurance things and the safety things that they have nowadays. So this is a long, long time. This is back in the late 80s. And they said, oh yeah, that horse could do with a lot more work. It's not fully broken in. I'm like, oh my goodness, not fully broken in. Why did you put me on it? So, yeah. Anyway, thankfully I was okay, but it could have ended a lot worse. It was pretty scary at the time. But anyway, that's the only horse I've ever fallen off. Oh, when I was younger, I did end up on the neck of a horse once when it went to take off, and it just like lurched, and I wasn't ready for it. It threw me off the saddle onto its neck. But I was able to, what did I do that time? That was down at Scone. I went on so it wasn't a horse that I'd ridden before. Can't remember if I got back into the saddle. I don't think I did. I think I was able to pull the horse up and stop it, and then I was just able to get off. I didn't fall off. But yeah, but they're the two scariest experiences I ever really had. Apart from that, I was pretty okay at riding. I wasn't skillful in terms of being able to do dressage or anything like that. Like I was a hack, you know, trail rider, not but I was experienced. I'd ridden for a lot of years. And I could ride bareback, and I could saddle up my own horse and do all the things. In fact, the horse that I used to ride all the time, her name was Cuddle Pie. We used to call her Cuddles. She was one of the fastest horses there at the time, but she was a bit stubborn. She was very headstrong, and she used to throw her head a lot. So I used to always put what we called back then, I don't know the actual term for them, but we used to call them rings. And I used to always ask for them to put them on. And sometimes they'd just say to me, yeah, it's okay, you can just put them on yourself. I'm like, oh, all right then. So I'd go and get them out of because, you know, I'd been riding there for so many years, they knew me. And so I'd go and get them out of the tack room and take her bridle off and undo her saddle and put them on. Yeah. So they used to let me do all that kind of stuff. I nearly actually bought her at one stage. But then at the time what happened, I'd lost my job, I think, that I was in at the time. And then, or I left my job. I didn't lose my job. I left my job. And so then I couldn't afford it. So, but I came very close to purchasing her, which, yeah, one of my biggest regrets that I never ended up owning my own horse. But wasn't meant to be, I guess. And anyway, now I've got a really bad back, so it's probably worked out for the best. All right, you saw me wrap that twine around while I was just chatting about horses. Has anybody else got any interesting stories about horses? Dimity and Leslie have shared about their experiences, or Leslie's shared about her granddaughter's experiences. I remember I did take a friend's daughter on a trail ride another time at a different place that we'd never ridden at before. And the horses, oh my goodness, they were terrible. And I was an experienced rider at that time. But I couldn't, these horses, they just wanted to keep turning back home and going back to their stable, like back to their holding pens and stables. They were terrible, trying to turn them around and get them to actually go out for a ride, because that was it wasn't on a lead trail. Like, it was just, you know, you could take your horses out and go and ride in this paddock. But oh my goodness, they were hopeless. They were terrible horses to ride. They just wanted to be with their mob and not have to work. They were lazy. But yeah, that was, I mean, I didn't fall off or anything, and my friend's daughter didn't fall off, but I just remember it was a really not a fun experience, because these horses, they wouldn't go. You couldn't get them to move. So yeah, a few fun times. But I used to go with my friend, and sometimes as my friend and her husband, they had children, we'd sometimes take the kids for a little like lead ride just around the property, you know, there where the stables were. But usually it was my friend and I that went riding, but every so often she'd stay with the kids and her husband would come with me and we'd go and have a ride. Yeah, so we had some fun times back in those days. And then the kids would, sometimes when the kids would come down with us, and then they'd stay with the other parent that wasn't riding, and then they'd just play on the property or play down by the creek, and then we'd have, you know, a little picnic lunch or something when we got back. And yeah, it was nice. And some fun times together back in the day, back in the 80s. Feels like a lifetime ago now. All right, so I'm still not happy with the length of the, wrong scissors. Use the sharp ones, that will be helpful. All right, I'm going to just roughen up the ends of my twine. I'm just separating them, so just by winding them, untwisting them, so in the opposite direction to how they've been twisted, and just roughing them up with my fingers to add a bit of texture and just make them a little bit more rustic to go with the theme of the card. There we go. Now, if you have trouble with your twine sitting just right, what I recommend is using some glue dot, but you don't need a whole glue dot if you're just using linen thread or baker's twine, because it's very fine. Hang on a minute, I've got to find my take a pick tool. There it is. So look at my desk, so messy today, goodness. All right, so you just want to pick up a little bit of that glue dot. So I like to just attach my take your pick to it, just twist it, and then when I get enough, I push that dot back onto, or the rest of the dot back onto the backing, and pull this bit off with my take your pick tool. If you don't have a take your pick tool, they are a fantastic multi-purpose tool. So I highly recommend them. Then I just use my nail, drag that up, make that into a little ball on the tip of my take your pick tool. So you can probably see that little blobby ball on my very dry hands. And then just pop that behind where your knot is on your twine to adhere that in place. And then you can get that sitting exactly where you want it. There we go. All right, so that's all done. And now we're going to add some dimensionals to the back of our sentiment. And we can pop that on. Actually, use my take your pick tool. It's much quicker and easier. There we go. I haven't stuck them on spread out evenly, but that's okay. And then we're going to pop this down here in line with the edge of the stamped piece, so the front piece, and just above that twine. And just coming in from there. I might just pop that up. Oh, no, you can see a little bit of the grass. I might just pop it up a little bit higher just because it's going to overlap the horse's hooves there. Yeah, got just a little bit higher. That's better, just there. Line that up there. If I got that straight, using my grid paper to help me line that up. There we go. Great. And now we'll add our bling. And then our scene will be complete. And I'll show you the difference between the original one and this one. And then I've got a second card to show you as well, which is a quick and easy one. All right, so we're going to add one of these large ones at the top, in the top corner there. Now, these are pentagons, so they've got the 5 sides. So I kind of feel like they do need to go straight with that pointing up. I did have the original ones on the original card at a bit of an angle to begin with, but they just looked odd, and I repositioned them because they've just got the 5 sides. So I feel like they kind of need to go a bit sort of more straightish. And then we'll pop, oh, now I had one last time down here, but I don't have room for that now because I've got this a little, I've squished everything in. Where can I put the third one? Maybe I don't need a third one. Maybe I'll just leave 2 on this one. Maybe I don't need a third one. I might just leave 2. I know normally we don't have 2 embellishments. It's normally an odd number to be aesthetically pleasing to the eye, but let's just say our trim is our third component, our third embellishment, so to speak. This one keeps twisting. Let's get that to stick straight. Yeah, I've kind of not left myself room. I don't kind of want to put one. I think putting one too close to the rear end of the horse might look a bit odd, don't you think? So I think I'll just leave it as is. All right, so I'm very happy with that. I'm happy with the colour of the horse, how that turned out. Let's have a look at the original one. Okay, so there's the original one with the darker sort of roan, I guess it's roan colour you'd call it. And then this one hasn't even come out as much of a chestnut colour. It's more of a buckskin colour actually, this one, but I like it. I like it. So depending on whichever colours you want to use, it might be good to have a little play, and I might actually do this myself, have a little play with the different brown tone Stampin' Blends to see what different colour tones of horses you can get. Or you could do some greys if you want to do some greys. And you could have sort of like a dappled grey horse too. Because if you could actually stamp this in basic grey and then use some of the lighter greys to colour it. And it would be almost like a dappled grey horse because you've got the little spot images, spot detail. I'll hold this up. You've got all the little spot details sort of on the horse already. So you could make it into like a dapple grey horse. So many different ideas. You could make a bay colour horse with the brown body and the black mane and tail. Yeah, so you can make lots and lots of different colours. But I think the positioning of that one is a little bit better with the horse down a bit lower and the fence up a little bit higher as opposed to this one. Yeah, I think perspective-wise, this one actually looks a little bit more realistic than this one. But anyway, yeah, you can have a play and see. Now, would you like to see the extra project that I have created for you? I do need to put a insert in these, so I'll do that later though. I won't do that on camera. Oh, Amber said you could also emboss in white to make a palomino. Oh, that would be awesome. I love palominos. They're so beautiful. They actually, palominos, have always been my favorite color of horse. And then I really, really started to love chestnuts, but I think I still always radiate towards the palominos. They're just so beautiful. Oh, thank you, Glenda. Thanks, Leslie. All right, I've got another card to quickly show you. I'm not creating it. I'm just showing you the sample that I made, which is using just the horse's face from the other same stamp set, but the other stamp. And I've used a different sentiment with this one. And I've also used the horseshoes in the background of this circle. And the paper that I used was is it Country Wood? Wait, let me double check. Yes, Country Woods Designer Series paper, which goes beautifully with this stamp set. So be sure to check this one out, the Unbridled Beauty from the online exclusives. That's where you'll find it in the online store, the online exclusives. It's such a beautiful set. You can do so much with it. So there you go. So there are a few ideas for you. But yeah, this one I just stamped on white. And then I coloured the horse, and then I just went over the white with my blending brush and some crumb cake to sort of soften that colour a little bit. Put it on another circle behind it to give it a bit of a frame, and then, yeah, these two are the same size. Did a bit of daubering around the edges. Yeah, really easy. This one was quick and easy one. But if you want to do something a bit more detailed and play with that masking paper, do a scene card. Give a scene card a try and see how you go with it. And let me know. If you make a card using this stamp set, let me know. I would love to hear about it or love to see it. If you'd love to send me the photo, I'd love to see what you create. All right, well, I'm going to tip. Oh, sorry. Dimity said, I used to ride by myself. Ali from the riding school, hire ride or hours. They asked if I would like to buy. I wasn't 10. Oh, okay. Said no. I said I can't afford it. No one else could ride him. Oh, okay, cool. Dad used to have racehorses. Maybe you should have asked. Yeah, shame. Oh, never rode again after that. Oh, seems I had, this is from Dimity. Seems I had same horse background as you. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I rode till the last time I actually rode, I was 44, I think, was the last time a girlfriend, one of my really good girlfriends. Hang on, I'll turn the camera face to face and I'll tell you this quick story and then I'll let you all go. 2 secs. Let me just transition the camera. I'll just cover that up while I transition so I don't make you all dizzy. There we go. Okay, we are back. Yeah, so the last time I went riding, I think I was 44. So 11 years ago. Yeah, I think it was 11 years ago since I rode, and one of my very good girlfriends took me for my birthday, and that was the last time that I rode. I hadn't been for many, many years since I got married and moved out of the area. Like, it was a long way to go. I think I went a couple of times since being married, but I took John horse riding once and I said never again. He just didn't like it. He didn't understand how to control the horse. He got frustrated, and then the horse picked up on his signals, and yeah, it wasn't a good experience for him. And, you know, as much as I tried to teach him, it wasn't his thing. He's never been an animal person. It wasn't his thing. So needless to say, I didn't really ride much after that. And then, of course, having the children and things like that. But anyway, so the last time I went was 11 years ago. And it was great, but the same horse that I used to ride wasn't there anymore. She had passed away because, you know, it'd been a lot of years. But we still had a lovely time down at the old place. It had changed a little bit, and they'd upgraded a lot of things. But yeah, and I do have a photo from that one. I did ride a horse. We did do a lead trail with other people and the stable hands and stuff from there, just because I hadn't ridden for a long time and I'd lost a lot of confidence. But then I was like, come on, like, kick these horses up. Let's get going. Let's go. Let's go. They were like too slow. But anyway, lots of great memories. And I actually am planning to use this stamp set to scrapbook some of those, some of those times. I don't have a lot of photos from when I used to ride in the 80s because, you know, we didn't take our cameras with us usually on those trips and things like that. So a lot of those memories are up here. But my last ride, there is a couple of photos of me with the horse, not actually on the horse, but with the horse. After we rode, I think it was afterwards. My friend took some photos of me, so I'm going to scrapbook those, and I'm going to see what other photos I can find from riding days, if there's any floating around. But anyway, I'd love to hear about your riding experiences. Feel free to send me an email, send me a message. I'd love to chat about horse riding with you because I still love riding. And although I can't do it, I love still thinking about it, talking about it. And yeah, I love horses. They're just so special. They're just beautiful, beautiful animals, and they're very, very special. So there you go. So there's our card for today. I'll give you another up close. You'll be seeing it back to front now, but there's another up close look. But yeah, have a go with that masking paper. It's really great to work with. It's really fun. Just remember to take off a little bit of the sticky first. Dab it on your clothes or dab it on your skin. Take off a little bit of the sticky first because it is very, very sticky, and you don't want to tear your beautiful work that you've done. So, yeah. Oh, Dimity says, sounds like my husband. We did buy a horse for our son. Oh, cool. He was very big. The horse rested his head on Tim's shoulder and he was gorgeous. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, unfortunately, we never could afford to buy horses for our children. So as much as my middle daughter, Brooke, who now works with marine animals, but she would have loved a horse and she always asked for a horse, but we just weren't in the position to be able to do it, unfortunately. So, yeah. Wah. But anyway. All right, well, have a lovely week, everyone. I'll let you all go. I know a lot of you, it's coming up for dinner time for you. We eat late, so we don't eat for hours yet. It's like my afternoon tea time now. But enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your week. I hope you get some crafting in there somewhere. If there's anything I can do to help you with anything, you have any questions, let me know. And remember to subscribe to my newsletter as well to stay up to date at mandyspapercraftcreations.blogspot.com, or the links that I've popped in the description of this video on YouTube and in the comments on the Facebook Live. There is a link there to go to the newsletter. So, to the blog where you can subscribe to my newsletter. So feel free to do that. All right. Well, have a great week, everyone. I look forward to seeing you all next Monday at 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Until then, happy crafting. Bye.